Hello, everybody. Welcome to Toad TV. I am Mary Beth.
I am Helen.
We are the creative hands and minds behind Toad Hollow. And welcome. Today is Tuesday, July 30th?
30th, yes.
30th. We're not sure if this is going up today or not. We have a vet appointment later on. Hugo's going in to get his heartworm test, and he gets hot spots. So we're going to have the doctor take a look at the hot spots. But we're not sure how long that's going to take, so it may go up tomorrow.
Yeah.
However, everything is fine. Hugo is in great spirits. He goes out first thing in the morning. We go down about 5:30 in the morning, and they go out and they do their business and investigate the yard, because we usually have deer and squirrels and things come through the yard overnight. So they do their sniffs and that kind of thing. And then we have a flower bed in the middle of the front yard that Helen's been working on. So we have it gated so that some dogs who shall remain nameless don't go in and dig. The fencing is a good deterrent for one, not so much for the other, but we're getting better at it. Anyway,
the dog/goat that we have.
He goes and he starts playing tag with her. So he'll go on one side and just wait. And as she starts sneaking around that side, he goes racing around, and it's like this game of tag that's going on all over the front yard. He's in very good spirits. All this to say, nothing's wrong. It's just standard everyday things, but we do have to go do that. So yeah, long story short, hey, how you doing? So we've gotten a couple of Happy Mail things that I didn't realize that we hadn't talked about one of them before.
Right.
There was no name, so we can't thank the person, but if you sent these to us, please let us know, because you're awesome.
Yeah.
And they're awesome, and we can't wait to do them. So we got a bunch of puzzles from a company called Cordal Puzzles.
And there are like 8 or 10 of them in the box. There were like 8 or 10 of them in the box.
There's so many of them, and it's just, they're wooden puzzles, but
the puzzle pieces are awesome.
They're amazing. They come in a little mesh bag. And a lot of the puzzle pieces look like this. Well, wait, a lot of them look like this. So they're just, normal puzzle pieces. Wood, thick, absolutely beautiful. And then as you're going through them, all of a sudden you notice, wait,
there's an owl.
That's an owl.
Fox.
The other side is as good.
Yeah. Oh, look.
That may be a raccoon. Okay. Oh, we have an elephant. I mean, they're just, look at that. That's fascinating. Hedgehog.
So it's going to be really interesting to put them together.
Can I see that one?
Oh, the hedgehog, yeah.
Yeah. Because there. Look at it. The colors are so pretty. But as you're going along and you're putting it together, you're like, wait a minute, that looks like, a dog. So whoever sent them to us, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
I only brought up 2. Look at him.
I mean,
my God, steampunk cat.
The puzzle pieces are artwork of themselves, and then the finished product is just as amazing.
Right.
So, yeah, we can't wait to work on them.
Right. So thank you very, very much to whomever sent them. Look at this. This is your cheat sheet, so you know what you're making. I mean, I would frame that.
Was it in the New York Times this morning, the competitive puzzling?
Yes. Started in 2019.
Yeah.
People are gathering
in Europe or someplace.
In Europe somewhere.
To do competitive puzzling.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could ever do that, because I don't do them fast enough.
Right.
By far. But
I
find it very interesting.
So do I. Excuse me. I get sidetracked. I'm like the squirrel on ADD.
Right.
It's you're going along. It's like, oh, look, shiny object. You know,
until they start to fall into place. Once you start getting on a rhythm, then it's like, oh, well, just one more piece.
right?
Just
And then
one
you
more
get
piece.
hyper focused,
Yeah.
and you don't want to do anything else.
Right.
That's the only thing you want to do. So, so that was one that came a couple of weeks ago, and I totally forgot that we hadn't said anything. So
Yeah.
sorry it's so late, but thank you so much to whomever sent them.
I think we were supposed to do it on the week we missed.
Okay.
And then we just never caught up with it.
Okay.
So the other thing came in a box that was addressed to me and Mary Beth and Horace.
Okay.
Which was intriguing.
Can I tell you, I actually screamed.
I just laughed so hard.
Marianne, you are awesome. You and Bob, this is the funniest thing I have ever seen.
Okay. So this is Horace. I made him a couple weeks ago. His stage name is Barry Helafante. And look what they sent us.
Oh my God.
Okay. It's a microphone. I'm going to insert the picture I sent Marianne when we got it. It just,
I mean, this is hysterical.
This cracks me up.
He's got to stand on a book because he's a little bit short. But,
I mean, can't you just see him?
Yes. And then with one arm, so it's like pulling it down like that.
Right.
So he's kind of like pulling it out. I mean, come on. This is just the funniest thing. When Helen first took it out, I thought it was a stand for him.
That's what I thought when I was pulling it out. I'm like, oh, cool. It's a stand and he can be
stand up and everything. Right.
And then I'm like, what's this piece? And oh my God.
No, wait. It's so much better than a stand.
So thank you again.
Thank you
very much. I adore it. Barry loves it. Thank you.
So funny.
It even made my mother laugh
She
hysterically
said,
she heard us. We were kind of squealing about it. She had to come in and see what we were talking about.
She said that we have the best customers.
Yes.
Because they have the greatest sense of humor. And she's right. We do.
So Horace thanks you too.
Yes. Now I think Horace is going to have a band. We're going to have to make some more to give him a band.
Yeah. It'll be the Barnyard Band or something because I have a goat.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we have lots of yarn to show you because there's a whole bunch of yarn that is now available brand new in the shop.
Right.
Some of it are the club yarns from last month, July, which we normally release the next month so that everybody can get it. And starting in August, what we're doing is we're releasing August at the beginning. No surprise, no mystery, nothing like that. You get to come in, see it, and buy as much as you want.
Right.
So shall we start with favorite books?
Yes.
All right. I have the inspiration pictures to show. So we started. Oh, okay.
Should we do July?
Yes.
And then we'll go into August.
We're going to do all of July.
And then do it. Yeah. Okay.
And then do all of August.
Right.
Okay. So starting last month, up until last month, we were doing books with pretty covers or books that we loved, that kind of thing. And starting last month, after having a huge discussion with a Friday live podcast, and people brought up all their favorite books that they read as children, we decided that we were going to do our favorite books that we read as kids. And last month in June, we did Narnia. This month, you knew it was coming sooner or later. Anybody who knows us knows that Winnie the Pooh is going to show up sooner or later.
So when we spin the wheel and it chooses the book, then we go and find an inspiration illustration, or because Narnia was there was a picture of the council, so that was the picture that we used.
Right.
For June.
And this way we can come back to Narnia over and over and over again.
There will be more Narnias. There will be more Poohs.
Right.
This one is just time for a doze.
And we have it all on the app called Tiny Decisions. And I have all the different books that people suggested to us and books that we loved in this Tiny Decisions wheel. And we spin it once a month and it
Right.
tells us what we're doing. So anyway, this is the inspiration picture for Time for a Doze, and this is the yarn.
I love this yarn.
It is gorgeous.
This yarn, it's kind of reminiscent of the Curious George that we did
Okay.
with Paige, because the colors are so soft and subtle.
Right.
I mean, there's the main color, but then the peachy is just kind of all over soft, and then the lavender comes through every once in a while.
Now, looking at this, you might think it would knit up more variegated, but it actually knits up as a really beautiful tonal.
Yeah.
Well, it crochets up because I haven't done it yet. We're going to be showing you some of our blanket squares that we are doing, that Helen is crocheting blanket squares, and I am knitting them, and we're trying to do them in all the different club colors, and Helen is way, way farther ahead than I am.
But the crochet just goes faster.
Right. But here is Time for a Doze crocheted up.
So I am doing the Nature's Walk blanket by Sandra Paul Cherry Heart. So this is one of the ones. I think this is called the Gates.
The pattern is called the Gates. The yarn is the Time for a Doze.
Right.
Right. Okay.
So that's Time for a Doze.
God, it's so pretty.
It is.
And that would be a really soft overall blanket, or a sweater would be beautiful in that.
Yeah. And
I'm going to be saying this a lot. These all would make gorgeous sweaters.
A bear.
A bear, yes.
So chose.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Very, very soft. Okay, so for the next one is Who Runs the World? And this is a club that we just started that highlights really great badass women who are artists and inventors and scientists and mathematicians and just awesome human beings.
Running the world.
So for July.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It was a quote. I think it was, I forget who said it. It may have been Joan Didion. But women are only half the population, but we birth the entire population. So
take that. Okay.
Anyway.
So it was just for the month of July, we chose Mary Anderson. Mary Anderson was a real estate developer. She was a rancher. She was just awesome. But one of the things she did was she created the electric windshield wiper. So in 1902, she was in New York City. She was on a cable car, and the snow was getting stuck on the windshield, and the conductor had to keep getting off and clearing it and getting back in and going a little bit further and get out. So what she decided to do was create something that would clear the windshield from inside the car. So she created our modern windshield wiper. She actually applied for the patent. She tried to get big businesses like Ford and that sort of thing to use it, and nobody would do it because cars weren't very common back then. So nobody paid any attention to it. And the patent was good for 17 years. Starting in 2020 or 1920, it became a standard thing on every car being made. And she got nothing. She got no recognition, no recompense or anything like that, which I'm sorry, that sucks. So, but we decided we were going to do the windshield wiper, and we were going to do a shout out to her. So since the only thing I could find was a black and white picture of her, we decided to go with one of our favorite kinds of motor vehicles. And we went with a VW bus. Because sooner or later, I'm going to have a VW bus.
Yeah.
And it very likely may be in that color.
So this is the yellow bus. So it's just bright, colorful.
Really fun.
Yeah.
And if you would like to see how that crochets up,
ta-da!
That just looks like a tie-dye
It really does.
type of
It's
thing.
perfect for 60s VW bus with the flower
Right.
power stickers and everything.
I am doing the traveling Afghan that Lion Brand did with a bunch of different designers in 2020, I think, 2019 or 2020. And I am taking a different block and making it out of each of the colors. And so this is one of the blocks done up in the
Love this
bus.
stitch. It's really cool.
It is.
Pattern, not stitch.
But so this is my VW bus done up, knitted. So if you want to hold yours up, you can see how it's kind of the same, but a little bit different. Mine tends to color block.
Well, I think what it is the difference between techniques, because the crochet is going around and around and around, because
and I'm
it's
going
a
just
granny
back
square,
and forth, yeah.
and you're just going back and forth. So,
but that's that.
Yeah.
Okay. For our next one, our denizens of the Hollow, these are the creatures that we would imagine would come and visit us here at the Hollow. For those of you that are new, since we are Toad Hollow, we call our house and surrounding lands the Hollow. And it kind of travels with us.
Surrounding lands, it sounds like we live on this vast estate.
Well, it kind of travels with us. When
Right.
we were at the beach, that was the Hollow. When we're here, that's it's wherever we are, you know? Anyway, the creature that we decided to focus in on for July was the Swallowtail Butterfly. And that is what we took our inspiration picture
Because we actually had quite a few swallowtails
coming through at the
coming
beginning.
through in July. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what the yarn looks like. It's a very, very soft yellow with some grays.
It's like a butter.
Yeah.
Yellow.
And then there are speckles of blue and
a little bit of orange.
A little bit of orange.
You can see the orange.
And knitting it, it looks like this. That is what it looks like knit up. Now, again, I'm going to say this would be an absolutely spectacular sweater.
Yeah.
Again, very cool little seed stitch thrown in every now and then. But that is what it looks like knit up.
And then here's the crochet.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, and our final for, I'm knocking so much stuff off this table. Our final for the month of July was our Disney yarn. And for this, again, we have a tiny decisions wheel that we have all Disney and Pixar movies on, and then we spin it. And when it comes up, then we have Siri pick a number between 1 and however many characters we can find, and whatever character it pulls, we have to find a picture that we can work on for that. And for this, we came up with, it spun Zootopia, and the character it picked was Yax. Okay, so this is the inspiration picture. And this is Yax.
So this is actually, we called it These Guys, They Be Naked, because Yax lives on a commune where
let's just
they
start
be naked.
with the person who voices Yax is Tommy Chong.
Right.
So just go from there. Okay. Here's They Be Naked.
So this is a bit of a deviation from our normal Disneys, because the Disneys, they're bright and colorful.
Right.
But Yax is not.
No, Yax is very kind of muted.
Right. So we went with the brown, and then there are orange and yellow and green speckles throughout. It's very pretty brown.
Yes.
Which, if you guys know me, is saying a lot.
Right.
I'm not a fan of the shade of brown. But once you work on it, do you have one?
I do not. I have not done Yax yet.
So that's what Yax crochets up like. this is going to be a sweater.
Yes. That's just, I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Baby naked.
Okay, so July yarns. Here we go. We have, shall we do just one of each?
Yeah.
Favorite books.
Disney. Look at those two together.
Oh, those are beautiful. Here's Who Runs the World.
And the Swallowtail.
And the Swallowtail.
Yeah, let me take Who Runs the World because you're.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
'Cause
July
actually,
yarns.
Yaks goes great with Pooh, and then also goes really well with the bus.
We'll put him with the Swallowtail too.
Yeah. They kind of blend into each other on the Swallowtail.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's really, really pretty.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Bucket. Put them all in. Okay. All right, shall we put the finished squares in there too?
Sure.
So that you're not trying to deal with those two. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right, on to August's yarn.
Did we say there was a lot of yarn?
Yeah. All right, so for our favorite books, the Tiny Decisions wheel pulled up Paddington. I adore Paddington. I've said before on the podcast that for my 10th birthday, I woke up, all I wanted was a Paddington bear. He was sitting at the end of my bed. My birthday is the day before Halloween. He was wearing a jester costume that was exactly the same as the costume that my mom made for me that year. So he was all dressed up in the same costume, and he had a little carrying case that had his other clothes in it. It was like the greatest birthday. I absolutely adore him. I still have him. He has taken a lot of tears, a lot of rage, a whole bunch of things. He came up to Smith with me when I went away to college.
Yep.
He has traveled to every single place I have moved. He's never gone into storage. He comes with me. So Paddington is a favorite of mine. But when we were thinking of, doing a color for him, I was searching for illustrations, and this is one of the first ones that came up. And this is one of the things that hit me the hardest when the Queen died.
Right.
I mean,
other than the corgi looking for her.
Right. It was just, we're both Anglophiles. We love British things and that kind of thing. And we followed along with the royalty, and it meant a lot.
Yeah.
So for us, we decided that we were going to take this as our first inspiration picture for Paddington. So what we did was we started with pale brown, and then worked our way with some blues and reds and greens. And it's just so pretty. So pretty.
And this is one that I think benefits from being worked up. Because look how pretty that is.
That's gorgeous.
Not that the skein isn't pretty. It's just, it's one of those things where I look at this and I'm like, oh, I don't know how that's going to work up.
Right.
So
that is really, really, really pretty.
So, Paddington and the Queen.
I do not have it knit up. I have next to nothing knit up.
It'll come.
Yes.
We're working on them because I only have the Disney and then that's it.
Okay.
Me, I haven't done the other two.
Oh, I have the... Okay.
The Denizen, right?
I have the Denizen, right. Okay, so here we go. Next up is the Denizen. The Denizen this time, because we put out birdseed, and we have so many birds that come through. And Helen has the bird feeder that has the camera on it so that she gets to see some of the ones that come through. Lots of songbirds.
Right.
Our yard is just
sparrows and finches and cardinals and blue
robins
jays.
Just singing away.
Yeah.
So we wanted to pick a songbird, and we picked the Lazuli Bunting. This is the Lazuli Bunting. It is such a pretty color.
Oh my God. This yarn.
So here you go.
I love these shades together.
So do I.
The blues and the brown. And
I'm turning her into a brown person.
I know. Who am I?
I know. This is how it is knitting up.
Sweater.
This is going to be a pretty, pretty sweater. But this is my blanket square so far. So this is how I am doing there. That's just, it's gorgeous.
I love that one.
So that is the Lazuli Bunting.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not.
Okay.
No, it's my favorite.
Our next one that we have is we picked our next Disney film. And the Disney film we picked was Encanto. Now, the last time we did Encanto, we did Mirabelle and we did her skirt. This time we picked...
I mean, how can you not? You don't talk about Bruno.
So we don't talk about Bruno. All right, here is the inspiration picture. Here is the yarn. This yarn is so pretty.
Purple and green.
Except because you have
green.
Pink and green and you have purple and green, but when you have a pinky purple and green, oh my God. It's like
a little bit of brown.
Everything collides together to perfection.
And this is... Get my end out there. Bruno.
Sweater, anyone?
Yeah.
I mean, how cool would that be as like a fall sweater? That would be a perfect color. So
just make a great hat, shawl,
mittens,
anything.
Yes.
Socks.
It's
perfect.
It's perfect. It really is. So
we don't talk about Bruno.
Okay, and the last one for August is our STEM, or not our STEM, Who Runs the World? And it is actually pulled from the STEM world. This is Madame Cury. So here is our yarn.
I call it Madame or Marie?
Oh, Marie Curie. We called it Marie Curie. But here you go, Marie Curie. So what we did was we started with like a bright citrusy green, and then we dunked it into a really, really, really light black. I didn't want the black to take over completely so that you didn't see anything else coming through.
So it's like a charcoaly gray that's come through.
And it also toned down the brightness of the green, because by dunking it into the black, it really toned it down, but it's coming through still. So,
and then pink speckles.
Pink speckles.
Like berry pink speckles. Very light, so they only show up every once in a while.
We have to do this one up so that we can show you what it looks like.
Right.
So that is Marie Curie. So here we go. For the month of August, we have Who Runs the World? We Don't Talk About Bruno. That's our Disney.
Lazuli Bunting.
The Lazuli Bunting is our Denison. And then
Paddington and the Queen.
Paddington and the Queen. And I think we need to move some things around. Give me this one and that you, because my two are blending, and there you go. Okay. So, August yarns. All right. Okay, well, these can go in. Right. Okay, and these two. Okay, on to projects.
Right.
My projects are all in the box because basically all I've gotten done would have blanket squares. So that's what I've been working on. You have a whole bunch of stuff.
I finished last week I was to the toe, and I had a couple more rows of my toe for my Buffo Socks in Whelks and Sand. So they are now a completed pair. It will go into the drawer. I love this pattern. I've said it a million times. Just a fun, quick pattern to knit up. So those are done.
Love the stripes.
Yes,
absolutely love the stripes. Do you want to show your cockle shells since you have them right there?
So I did the two sets. So this was in cockle shells and sand, Buffo Socks, and these were Whelks. And we have the kits where you get a 50-gram skein of each color to make the Buffo socks or whatever socks you choose.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
That's those. Then Friday, we showed you the lake house yarn. We released that on Friday. That's not the lake house. That's the lake house. And I am knitting up a pair of Thomasina socks by Kay Jones. The cuff is like a broken twisted rib. So you do one row of knit 2, purl 2, and then the next row is knit through the back loop, purl 2. So it makes such a pretty cuff. I love it. And then this is the texture of the body of the sock. The leg, I guess you would say. So pretty. However, the Buffo socks are quick, zip right through. This one is not so fast.
Lots of knitting through the back loop.
A lot of knitting through the back loop. But I love the texture, and it's a perfect watching the Olympics kind of thing.
Yes.
So I got a couple extra rows in since Friday. So I'm sure that.
Very cool.
And then I have my other blankets wares that I caught up on, which were prior month's clubs. Like this is the garden at Bougival. This is the Blue Jay. Here's the Council from Narnia. I love this one.
That's so pretty.
Also the Blue Jay. The Blue Jay's.
The Blue Jay is beautiful.
Yeah. Here's lanterns.
So this basically is all June's colors, club colors?
Yeah. But look at this. Look at the snowflake.
That's very cool.
Which one's this? Well, this one's a flower. You can see the petals. This is a petal. Each quarter is a petal.
I'm not seeing that.
Look at the back.
Oh, okay.
That's a butterfly. See.
Okay.
This is wheat. And then I also did up the Queen of Hearts because she came back from the vault a couple weeks ago.
All right. Lots of great blanket squares.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm almost caught up on my blanket squares.
So how many do you have to do?
2 from...
No. Sorry. How many are you doing for the overall blanket?
Oh, I don't know.
You haven't decided
It's
that.
like 4 of each of the... And I don't remember
Okay.
how many different designs there are.
Okay.
I have made one of each design, and I am like the third of the second.
Okay.
Doing the second round. So.
All right. Cool. I am just going through and searching Traveling Afghan for the knitted squares and picking them and doing them one by one. So I think I've done 1, 10, 11, and 5.
Okay. Do you know how many are total?
Have no idea.
Okay.
At least 11. I'm pretty sure they're like 24 or 25, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know, but when it comes time, I'll just start repeating.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the projects. It has been a kind of a quiet week as far as crafting. Oh, well, we did do something else over the weekend.
Right.
So when we first came up in our dining room, we have a window seat. And
By came up, we mean we moved back into the house we grew up in.
Right.
To help out our mom. For those who don't know our whole backstory.
Whole sitch, you know. So we moved
We're
up.
We're going to get more into that later.
We moved up in November of 2022. And when we first got here, the window seat was just covered with a whole bunch of junk. It was like, this is a great place to just stick stuff and get it out of the way.
That can be said of a lot of things.
Yes. So one of the things we did was we went through and got rid of the garbage, put away the things that needed to get put away, that kind of thing, and completely cleared it off. And then we started bringing up our stuff from our last house, and as we needed it, and we were bringing up things, and we filled it with our stuff. And it spent a couple of months where it was just full of our junk, and we decided,
I mean, there was fabric bolts and then yarn skeins. So it's a great place to store things.
It's just a great place to just drop stuff, you know. I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be a window seat the way it's supposed to be. So when we first came up, it's a plain wooden window seat, which is uncomfortable. It is not comfortable at all. So what we did was, when we saw that Joann's was going bankrupt or out of business, not sure how.
They were having a huge sale.
They had a really good sale on foam. So we got some 5-inch foam for the seat, and I measured it out, and we have another window seat up on the second floor, so I got enough to do both. And what we did this past weekend was we cut down the foam, got it measured so it's perfect for that window seat, and then we made a cover for it. And Helen's going to insert a video here. This is the window seat in our dining room. When we got here, it was covered with papers and junk, and we cleared it all off and immediately filled it with our junk. We have finally gotten everything off it, and now I have a plan. I've ordered foam for it. I got it from Joann's because they were going out of business or bankruptcy, or their foam was on a really good sale. So this is 5-inch thick foam. I got enough to do this window seat and another window seat upstairs. However, it comes in pre-cut pieces, so it's a little bit short. So I had to get another piece to fill in. I cut the smaller piece. I basically sawed through it with a pair of scissors, and I made it so that it's a really tight fit, so that once the cover goes on, you shouldn't be able to feel the break at all. So now I need to pick the fabric for the cover. I wanted to use canvas because hopefully it's going to be getting a lot of use. So we have Tim Holtz fabric in a canvas material, and these are the two choices. And I think I'm going to be going with the maps because I love the way the green in it plays off the brown of the wood in the windows. The final touch will be adding big comfy pillows. We've got a couple more in the closet too, so I'm going to cover the pillows and add them, and then maybe a quilt for the end of the bench. And just imagine sitting here, feet up, good book, cup of tea, watching the snowfall. It's going to be perfect. The cushion is finished and it looks fantastic. And it's actually really, really comfortable. I love this fabric so much. I still have to do the pillows, but they can be added at any time. Project almost complete. So you can see how cool it looks now with its cover.
Right.
It's really, really pretty. So what I need to do now is, we have these great big 24-inch pillows. I'm going to make pillowcases for them so that you can sit on this bench and just, I envision it where you're sitting, you're leaning back on the pillow, you've got a really good book, you've got a quilt, maybe snowing outside or raining outside, and you can sit there and look out and read your book and just have a really nice quiet spot to sit. So that's the plan. The cushion is done. I now just need to do the pillowcases.
Right. And then also in the dining room, since we have a huge dining room table, we are 2 of 6 children. So they have my mom has a 96 inch, not foot. That would be a really big dining room.
Really big dining room table.
96-inch dining room table. So at some estate sale, yard sale, whatever, they found a 96-inch church pew, which they bought instead of getting chairs for that one side of the table. There's a church pew. Now, anybody who's ever been to church knows the pews are not comfortable. So while Mary Beth made the cushion for the window seat, we also got 1-inch foam, which I cut down and made into a cushion for the pew. So
sister number 3, you're welcome, because she's usually stuck sitting on that when we have dinner, and it is not comfortable.
No, it is not.
Not at all. So we now have a cushion.
Right.
So Helen's going to put in her video here.
Well, Marybeth takes on the window seat. I am taking on the seating for the dining room table. We have a massive dining room table. It's 96 inches long. And way back when, my parents bought a church pew to be one side's seating, so they didn't have to get individual chairs. It's just one big long church pew, also 96 inches long. So it is, as all church pews, not terribly comfortable to sit on. So we are creating a cushion for it. Again, had to cut it into two, but we are not using as thick as for the window seat. This is like a 1.5 inch foam that we're going to use for this. So I've cut my two pieces to fit snugly on the bench. First I had to cut the width in half because it comes 24 inches wide, so I needed 12 inches wide, so I cut that in half. I was able to do that with a rotary blade because it's so much thinner than so. And then cut another piece to make it one big length. And the fabric I'm going to use is this Tim Holtz postage, because we want it fairly neutral. Not much goes with this back, but then if we want to add accent pillows or something to it for the holidays or whatever, it'll blend in with the cushion. So here we go. Cushion is done. It was very rudimentary. I cut a 96-inch piece of fabric by 25 inches. I put in a zipper. And what I did was I just folded it in half. Sewed the zipper on one end, then sewed it on the other end, and sewed up the top and the bottom and turned it inside out. Very easy. The hardest part was taking a 96-inch piece of pillowcase and shoving a pillow into it. But the zipper runs just about the whole length of the case, so that part was easy. But it looks fantastic, and it's much more comfortable.
And you can see it's so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
And so easy. I mean, really, we didn't do anything overly fancy,
No.
no hidden zippers or anything like that. They have zippers, but it's just...
I originally was going to put the zipper across the short piece on the top, and then I thought about trying to stuff a pillow into a pillowcase when it doesn't want to go in. And I thought, you know what? Trying to get this foam into
86-inch tube.
an 83-inch tube is going to be impossible. So I put the zipper down the back. And what we had done a while ago was we got zipper tapes. Instead of getting individual zippers, we just got the great big long tapes, and they're 3 yards each. So I could do it almost the entire length of the cushion. So on the bottom, there's this great big long zipper that makes it really easy to get it in and out.
And having jammed it in with that great big huge space, you never would have gotten it in with the one on top.
Nope.
So
you cut down the side and open it up like a banana.
Yep.
Anyway, so I have a zipper going down the back, but it made it very easy to put it together. So now I kind of measured the foam, so I knew exactly what I was thinking of doing. And then for mine, I did side pieces and end pieces and just sewed it all together. I wasn't really following a pattern. I was just winging it, but it worked out very, very well. It fits like a glove.
It really does,
it fits perfectly, so that it's good. We did it out of canvas that we have. Both of them we made out of canvas, Tim Holtz canvas, which fits in perfectly with the overall dark wood of the dining room. It really looks good.
Yeah.
So yes, they are done and they are ready for visitors.
Right.
So now I need to do is do the pillows, and then we'll be finished.
Right.
Okay.
That is the project.
That I think is it on the project.
Right.
Yeah. All right. we have been watching the Olympics. We did the opening ceremonies on Friday. That was lots of fun. And
I thought Paris did a great job.
I did too. I thought it was so much fun.
Yeah.
A little bit spooky with Marie Antoinette singing without her head, but it all worked out beautifully. Right. You had to feel for all those performers who were out there doing it in the absolute teeming rain. But at least it wasn't the Winter Olympics.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And I
loved how they did it over the entire city. That it
yes.
wasn't just in a stadium with videos. It was just all throughout the city. It was just
and
really
the boats
good
coming
idea.
down the Seine and all the athletes on them. I mean, it was so cool.
Yeah, it really was. It was a nice, new, fresh take on the opening ceremony. So I thought it was fantastic.
Yes. And I love that on Peacock, we can go in and watch whatever we want, the entire thing, so that you're not watching the recap at the end of the night where
you're jumping from event to event to event and you're at the whim of NBC's choice of what you get to watch.
Right.
And stupid fillers.
Yeah, so what we've been doing is we've been watching the individual things. So we've done men's synchronized diving, women's synchronized diving, the men's preliminaries for the gymnastics. We have not done the final yet. We do know.
I know the results.
The results.
Right.
But, and we've done the women's preliminaries. We've done 3 of the 5 preliminary sets.
Right.
So we have the last 2 preliminaries to do and then start doing the finals. But we've done swimming. I think we're going to be doing some tennis because Rafael Nadal has been playing tennis and my mom, huge fan. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a night of tennis. But it's really kind of nice because we can just pick one event. Doesn't get too confusing.
Right.
Doesn't get too, worrisome. It's just if we stick with one thing and stay with that, it's best.
That's for our mother. Mary Beth and I can follow.
Yeah. No, it makes life much easier.
Yeah. A lot less questions.
So, okay. So that's what we've been doing, what we've been watching. And I'm trying to think.
Reading, there's not much of an update from what we did last time.
No.
I finished the Leave Only Footprints. Loved it. Gave it 5 stars.
I have now picked it up.
And instead of having Siri pick me another one from our TBR file, I had started the Oscar Wars, which Mary Beth gave to me as part of Bookfent, as our I think it was a nonfiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you know what? I'm on a nonfiction kick. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to finish it. So,
honestly, who are you?
I know. I like Brown and I'm reading nonfiction.
Pod people, give me back my sister.
Anyway, it's really fun because it's just getting into all the juicy details of the history of the Oscars and the behind the scenes and
the gossip,
the infighting. I mean, Joan Fontaine and Olivia de Havilland, the sister rivalry / feud. Betty Davis was just a force to be reckoned with. It's a lot of fun. So
I thought when I read about it, I thought, oh, this is going to be so good.
Yeah,
because you get juicy. All the background stuff. So I am listening to the Chronicles of St. Mary's. I have finished book 5 and now I'm on book 6, which is What Could Possibly Go Wrong. And I honestly can just live in this series forever. I love these people so much. So I'm really just enjoying when we came up to do the cushions. You plug in your book and you just go, and it's a lovely afternoon. Yeah, really lovely afternoon. So that's what I am listening to.
And I'm still listening to The Briar Club by Kate Quinn. Love it. Absolutely love it. Strong women, little female rage, just really excellent book.
Sister number 3, thank you very much.
Yes.
She is the one that said that we had to read it. And so once Helen is done with that, I will move on to that.
Yeah.
And do that as well.
Yeah. Because these are characters that they sneak their way in and you just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool. You just want to stay with them forever. So
Kate Quinn is good that way.
Yeah.
She is. All right. Okay. So that is pretty much it. We just have one more thing to talk about, and that is
One small little thing.
one tiny little thing. We're going to be taking the month of August off.
Just from the podcast.
Yeah.
We will be other socials. We'll still be dyeing yarn. We're just taking a month off from the podcast. As most of you know, the last 2 years have been difficult for us. And with the change in location and change in responsibilities and everything like that, it's been very, very hard for us. And we feel that we're getting stale. As far as our podcast, the Friday podcast, project-wise, I put up yesterday that I'm just bored with my sweater. Now, granted, it's a fingering weight sweater and I'm in the body stocking knit section, so who's not going to get bored?
Yeah.
I knit it and I'm like, I really, really want this sweater done, but I'm never, ever, and I say it every time, knitting a fingering weight sweater again.
You're going to love it so much when you get it done.
That's the thing. I want it so much. Anyway, I'm not it, but we're in a rut.
We're bored with ourselves.
Right. We're bored with our projects. We're bored with our situation. Anyway, we're going to take the month of August off from podcasting and just kind of rethink it a little bit. We're going to come back in September. We'll still be back every week. It's just how we're going to do it.
Right. And also by then we're going to have built up a whole bunch more that we've been working on.
Right.
So it's not, hey, I put in 3 rows in my sweater, or I finished a blanket square, or that kind of thing. It's, we're going to have a whole bunch more to talk about.
Right.
And it's just, we just need to step back for a little bit. Everything is good.
Oh yeah,
everything is fine. It's just we need a little bit of a break.
Right. And August is a good time. People are on vacation. So we're just going to go off, recharge, rethink things, and come back in September with just a plethora of things to show you.
Right. I mean, look at last summer. We came back in September and said, hey, we're dyeing yarn again.
That's right.
Because we started dyeing in September. Who knows? Maybe this time we'll come back and say, hey, we're not dyeing
yarn anymore.
We're making jewelry now. Who knows? We're not.
We're not. We're not. That is not foreshadowing of any way.
We're going to continue dyeing yarn because I really love our yarn.
Yeah.
So yes, it's just we're going to take a little bit of a break and step back a little bit.
Right. Each week it's kind of like, what are we talking about? I don't know. So it's just little.
And Lord knows if you've been on our last couple of Friday podcasts, it's been
one thing after another.
Yeah, it's just been like a real circus as far as trying to get connectivity and that sort of thing. So
just figuring all of that back stuff out and giving us a break. So
look for us on
and
Instagram.
You guys a break from our boring.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook as Toad Hollow NJ. You can also join our Facebook group, which is Crafting with the Toads. If you come over there, you get to see what other people are making, and it's stunning because we have some really, really creatives.
That's where all the pictures of the projects at the end of each video, when I show what you guys are working on, it all comes from that Facebook group.
So you can join us there. We do have a Patreon group. We're not great at being a part of that yet. That's another thing that we're trying to work out. So for everybody who's continuing to support us on Patreon, thank you so much.
Right.
We really, really appreciate it. And then we'll be back here starting in September.
Right.
Okay. I think that does it.
I think so.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of the summer, guys.
Yeah. Go forth and create lots of things.
Lots and lots of things. Post them in Crafting with the Toads, and we go in and look at what you're making. So that's very cool for us.
And maybe in our recharging, we'll actually post what we're working on. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. And we will be back in September. Bye.